4 years, Taylor Swift has lived a life that feels almost impossible to imagine. A girl who started writing songs in her bedroom became the biggest music superstar on the planet. A woman whose every move creates headlines. Every outfit, every song, every appearance, every relationship. But nothing prepared the world for the moment when Taylor Swift became the center of attention for something completely different. Her wedding. When Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce officially stepped into their next chapter, millions of people around the world stopped everything to watch. Fans celebrated. Critics questioned. The internet exploded. Because this was not just a wedding. This was a global event. A moment where music, sports, celebrity culture, and billions of fans collided. Some people called it the ultimate fairy tale. Others called it one of the most talked about celebrity weddings ever. But behind the cameras, the headlines, and the massive attention, there were moments that surprised everyone. Moments that showed the pressure of being the world's most famous couple. Moments that revealed why Taylor Swift's wedding became one of the biggest conversations in entertainment history. Welcome back to Taylor Timeline. Before we continue, make sure you subscribe to Taylor Timeline for more incredible stories, hidden moments, and the latest updates about Taylor Swift's journey. Now, let's go back to the beginning. When most people imagine a celebrity wedding, they imagine luxury, beautiful locations, famous guests, perfect photographs. But when the names are Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce, the expectations become completely different. This wasn't just a private celebration between two people. It became a cultural moment. Taylor Swift had already changed the music industry. The Eras Tour became one of the biggest entertainment events ever. Travis Kelce had become one of the most recognizable athletes in football. Together, they created something rare. Two completely different worlds coming together. Music and sports. Hollywood and the NFL. Two massive fan communities watching the same story unfold. And because of that, every detail became a headline. From the location, to the guest list, to the decorations, to every single moment captured by cameras. People around the world wanted to know one thing: what does a Taylor Swift wedding actually look like? When a normal couple plans a wedding, they think about the guest list, the food, the venue, and the memories they want to create. But when the couple is Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce, everything becomes bigger. Every decision becomes a headline. Every detail becomes a worldwide conversation. Because this wasn't just another celebrity wedding. This was the wedding of two people who had become symbols of two massive industries. Taylor Swift, the global music icon. Travis Kelce, the NFL superstar. And according to reports discussed around the event, the celebration reached a level of luxury that most people could only imagine. A massive venue, thousands of guests, high-level security, exclusive arrangements, production that looked more like a major entertainment event than a traditional wedding. For fans, it felt like watching a real-life fairy tale. But for critics, the scale raised questions. Was this simply a beautiful celebration? Or had it become something too big? That debate quickly became one of the biggest discussions surrounding the event. The biggest challenge of being the most famous couple in the world is that privacy becomes almost impossible. For Taylor Swift, this is something she has experienced for years. Every relationship, every public appearance, every personal decision, it is analyzed by millions of people, and a wedding creates an even bigger spotlight. A private moment between two people suddenly becomes something the entire world wants access to. Fans wanted pictures, media outlets wanted updates, and critics wanted to share their opinions. The couple had to find a balance between giving fans a special moment while also protecting something deeply personal. Because at the end of the day, behind the fame and success, they were still two people starting a new chapter together. But the attention wasn't only focused on Taylor and Travis. It also focused on the people around them. The security teams, the workers, the city itself. Whenever a celebrity event reaches this level, it affects more than just the people attending. Large crowds gather, traffic changes, businesses prepare, and local communities feel the impact. Some people saw it as an exciting once-in-a-lifetime event. Others questioned whether such a massive celebration created problems for everyday people nearby. And that's the complicated reality of being one of the most famous couples on Earth. A moment that feels magical to some can feel overwhelming to others. But perhaps the most fascinating part of Taylor Swift's wedding story wasn't the money. It wasn't the location. It wasn't even the celebrity guest list. It was the reaction from millions of fans. Because for many Swifties, this wasn't just another celebrity wedding. They felt like they had watched Taylor's entire journey. They remembered the teenage songwriter chasing her dream. They remembered the heartbreak songs, the victories, the challenges, the reinventions. And now they were watching Taylor enter a completely new era of her life. For many fans, it felt emotional because they weren't just celebrating a wedding. They were celebrating a story that had been unfolding for almost 2 decades. And then came the biggest question: could the world's most famous couple actually have a normal life after a wedding watched by millions? Because fame can create incredible opportunities, but it can also create unbelievable pressure. And Taylor Swift knows that better than almost anyone. The next chapter would reveal whether this fairy tale moment could survive the reality of life outside the spotlight. For most couples, a wedding is one day, a memory shared with family and close friends. But for Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce, it became something much bigger. It became a worldwide conversation. A moment where millions of people felt connected to a story they had watched from the very beginning. Because Taylor Swift's fans don't just listen to her music. They follow her journey. They celebrate her victories. They support her through challenges. And when Taylor entered this new chapter of her life, millions of Swifties felt like they were celebrating with her. For years, fans watched Taylor transform. They watched a young songwriter from Pennsylvania become one of the most influential artists of her generation. They watched her write songs about heartbreak. They watched her turn criticism into motivation. They watched her break records that many thought were impossible. And then came Travis Kelce. At first, many people thought the relationship between a football superstar and a global pop icon seemed unexpected. 2 different worlds. 2 completely different careers. But over time, fans started seeing something different. They saw 2 people supporting each other. They saw Taylor attending football games. They saw Travis supporting Taylor's music. And slowly, the relationship became one of the most talked about love stories in modern celebrity culture. When wedding rumors and details began spreading, the reaction was massive. Social media became filled with discussions. Fans analyzed every photo, every appearance, every possible clue. For Swifties, every small detail felt meaningful. The same fan community that studies Taylor's lyrics for hidden messages began looking at every moment for hints about the next chapter. It showed just how powerful Taylor Swift's connection with her audience had become. Very few celebrities have fans who feel this personally connected to their lives. But with that level of attention comes criticism. Not everyone viewed the wedding in the same way. Some people celebrated the luxury and the fairy tale feeling. Others questioned whether celebrity culture had taken things too far. Some critics argued that an event involving the world's biggest pop star would naturally become excessive because of the attention surrounding it. Others believed that after years of hard work, Taylor deserved to celebrate one of the happiest moments of her life however she wanted. And that debate created something that happens often with Taylor Swift. Everyone had an opinion. Whether people loved it or criticized it, everyone was talking about it. One of the biggest reasons Taylor Swift remains such a fascinating figure is because she creates moments that become part of popular culture. Her concerts become global events. Her album releases become celebrations. Her fashion choices become discussions. And now, her wedding became another chapter in that story. It wasn't just about 2 famous people getting married. It represented something fans had followed for years: Taylor finding happiness. But behind the excitement, there was another important question. How does someone like Taylor Swift protect a normal relationship when the entire world is watching? Because fame brings attention, but it also brings pressure. Every decision can become a headline. Every mistake can become a debate. Every private moment can become public. For Taylor and Travis, building a future together means creating something strong enough to survive beyond the spotlight. And maybe that is the reason so many people are interested in their story. Because underneath the fame, the awards, the championships, and the millions of fans, there are two people trying to build a life together. A life that doesn't belong to the cameras. A life that belongs to them. But the biggest question remains, after becoming the most talked about couple in the world, can Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce create a future away from all the noise? Or will the spotlight always follow them wherever they go? Because their wedding may have been one of the biggest celebrity moments ever. But their real story is only beginning. For more than a decade, Taylor Swift's life has been written through music. Every era, every album, every transformation. She has always found a way to turn personal experiences into stories that millions of people can connect with. But now, Taylor's story has entered a completely different chapter. A chapter that isn't about proving herself. A chapter that isn't about answering critics. A chapter that is about happiness. And for many fans, seeing Taylor Swift reach this moment feels like watching the final scene of a story they have followed for years. From the beginning of her career, Taylor was known as someone who turned challenges into creativity. When people doubted her, she wrote stronger songs. When critics questioned her choices, she reinvented herself. When the music industry changed, she adapted. Again and again, Taylor proved that she wasn't just a singer. She was a storyteller. And now, fans are watching her tell a new story. One that is not only about career achievements, but about personal happiness. The relationship between Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce changed the way many people viewed celebrity relationships. Instead of a carefully controlled Hollywood romance, fans saw something that felt more natural. They saw laughter. They saw support. They saw two people celebrating each other's success. Taylor supported Travis during football moments. Travis supported Taylor during her biggest career achievements. And that partnership became one of the biggest entertainment stories in the world. But the future of Taylor Swift has always been impossible to predict. That is what makes her career so fascinating. Every time people think they understand her next move, she surprises them. Years ago, nobody expected a country singer from Nashville to become a global pop phenomenon. Nobody expected her to become one of the most powerful voices in the music industry. Nobody expected her tours to become worldwide cultural events. And now, nobody knows exactly what this next era will bring. Will Taylor continue breaking music records? Will she focus more on personal projects? Will she step away from the spotlight more often? Will this new chapter inspire some of her most emotional songwriting yet? Only Taylor knows the answer. But if history has shown us anything, it is that every new chapter creates something unforgettable. For millions of fans, the most exciting part is not just seeing Taylor Swift succeed. It is seeing her find balance. Because behind the superstar image, behind the awards, behind the stadium performances, there is a person who has spent years working, creating, and carrying enormous expectations. And perhaps the biggest achievement of all is finding someone who can stand beside her through it all. Taylor Swift's journey has always been about evolution. The young girl writing songs in her bedroom. The artist fighting for control of her own music. The performer creating history on massive stages. And now, a woman entering a new stage of life. A stage filled with new possibilities, new memories, and new stories waiting to be told. So whether you have followed Taylor since her first album, or you discovered her during the Eras tour, one thing is clear: Taylor Swift has created a timeline unlike anyone else. A timeline filled with music, moments, challenges, success, and now, a new beginning. This is Taylor Timeline. If you enjoyed this journey through Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce's wedding story, Make sure to subscribe to Taylor Timeline for more deep stories, emotional moments, and the latest updates from the world of Taylor Swift. Because the story is far from over. And the next chapter may be her biggest one yet.